Have you ever been in the middle of telling a story? One you're really excited about, and you just feel the energy in the room deflate? Yeah, you're not alone. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the 5 invisible traps of storytelling. These are the sneaky little mistakes that can make even the most amazing experiences fall flat.
So let's ask the tough question right up front. Are your stories making you invisible? Are they actually connecting with people, or are they just noise? Because honestly, the way you tell your story can be the difference between being someone who people remember and being, well, completely overlooked.
And see, that's the kicker. These aren't huge, obvious mistakes. They're these subtle, almost subconscious habits that pretty much all of us have. But the good news is, once you see them, you can't unsee them, and you can fix them. So let's dive into the very first trap. Oh man, we have all been here, right? Either as the person talking or the person trying to listen. This is when we get so caught up in our own story, so lost in all the little details, that we completely lose sight of who we're even talking to. We go completely blind to our audience.
This is that exact moment when you see their eyes just glaze over. They're probably nodding, maybe even smiling a little, but you know their mind is thinking about their grocery list. You've totally lost them, and the worst part is you might not even realize it. So how does this even happen? Well, it usually shows up in one of three ways. First, you've got the storyteller who just drowns you in way too much context, all these details that don't matter. Then you've got the total opposite problem. They leave out the most important details, so you're just sitting there confused. And finally, there's the story that just wanders. It never lands the plane because it never had a destination to begin with. But the fix for this is actually so simple. Before you launch into any story, just take a second and ask yourself 2 little questions. First, what information is absolutely essential for this to make sense? And second, what is the one single thing I want them to remember? That's it. Trim away everything else. I promise this alone will change the game. Okay, on to trap number 2. This one is all about how we share our wins. Look, we all want to share our successes, but there is definitely a way to do it that pulls people in and a way that kind of just pushes them away. Just look at this. It says it all. On the left, you've got the raw achievement. I closed a $6 million deal. It's impressive, sure, but it's kind of cold, right? It's sterile. But then look at the right. You get the win plus the journey, the terrifying pitches, the rejections. That's the story. It instantly makes that win feel earned and, human. And this really gets to the core of it. People can't really connect with your specific, unique success. But you know what they can connect with? Struggle, fear, rejection. The feeling of having to get back up and try again. Sharing the messy parts isn't weak. It's the bridge you build that lets people connect with your strength.
All right, this next trap is a little more nuanced, a little deeper. This is all about vulnerability and, crucially, about timing. Sharing our struggles is incredibly powerful, but when we share them and how we share them makes all the difference in the world.
And the metaphor here is just perfect. Think about it. A wound is still open, it's bleeding. It's that raw, unprocessed pain while you're still right in the middle of it. A scar, though? A scar is a sign of healing. It tells a story that you went through something, you processed it, and now you have some perspective on it. Speaking from a wound doesn't really help anyone. Because when you share from that raw, open wound, you're not really telling a story to serve the audience. A lot of the time, you're just processing out loud. And that puts your listener in this super awkward spot. Suddenly, they feel kind of responsible for your healing. You've turned them into an unwilling therapist, and instead of feeling inspired, they just walk away feeling heavy. So how do you know if you're ready to share a tough story? Just use this simple TSL framework. First, T is for test. Tell the story to a safe person, a trusted friend. See how it feels. Second, S is for stabilize. Practice telling it until you can get through it without the emotion taking over. And finally, L is for lead. Lead with the lesson. Make the insight the hero of the story, not the pain. Okay, this next trap might sound a little weird at first. You're the one telling the story, so it has to be about you, right? Well, the best storytellers know a secret. A truly great story is never just about the storyteller. This is the one question you have to ask yourself. Is your story a window that people are just looking through to see your life? Or is it a mirror where they can see a reflection of themselves? If they can't find some piece of their own experience, their own feelings, their own struggles in what you're saying, they're going to check out. So here's the recipe for building that mirror. It always starts with you.
your specific personal experience. But then you have to connect it to them by tapping into a universal human moment, like feeling like an outsider or overcoming a fear. And when you make that connection, you deliver the value, the aha moment, the insight they can actually use in their own life.
All right, we've made it to our final trap. And this is a big one because this is the one that can make you seem really unlikable really fast. It's the huge difference between sharing what you've learned and just preaching at people. This comparison says everything. The preacher on the left gets on their soapbox and tells you what you should do. It just creates resistance. But look at the sharer on the right. They just invite you into their own struggle. They show you why they changed, which makes you lean in and think about your own life. The lesson is invited, not forced.
This whole thing often comes from what you might call guru energy, that vibe you get from someone who acts like they've figured it all out. Just remember this simple difference. An arrogant person thinks they're better than everyone else. A truly confident person believes everyone is on the same level. They're just here to share what they've found. It's a totally different energy. And really, it all comes down to this. Trust your story. You don't need to beat people over the head with the moral of the story. If you tell a good, honest story, it will do all the heavy lifting for you. The message will land way more powerfully than any lecture ever could. So, there you have it, your complete storytelling toolkit. To recap, avoid audience blindness by knowing your point. Stop achievement dumping by sharing the cost. Share from your scars, not your wounds. Make it about them, not just you. And finally, be a sharer, not a preacher. And that's what this is all about. This isn't just some interesting theory. It's a practical guide. So I want you to think about it. The next time you're about to tell a story, whether it's at work or just with friends, which one of these traps are you going to actively try to avoid? Which story will you tell differently?